it was a hard fight. My parents were pastors. My dad, he was actually a counselor therapist. He went to school, he got his degree in psychology. They took the approach, well, at least they thought they were fighting against the system they grew up in, where mental health was seen as demonic and they didn't want their family to go through that. But it was so embedded in them, they repeated the same cycle. So when I had issues and I was suicidal and I was depressed and different things, their response was prayer, read your Bible, go to church. Eventually, they gave in and took me to see a therapist because it was eventually bearing on me physically. It was manifesting through my physical body, headaches, sickness. So instead of they took me to the psychologist, and the therapist met with me, and he met with my parents separately. And talking with my parents, he said she needs help. And instead of embracing it, which shocked me because of my dad, because he always helped everybody. He went to school to help them. And instead of embracing that for his family, he became what he was fighting against. He didn't want to accept what was being said. He refused to accept it. So instead of taking the advice, I stopped seeing the doctor. He moved the family away, which made it worse. So at that age, I was around 14. I made up in my mind if I could ever get out of this, if I could ever fight this, find a way to get out of this darkness, I would not let my children go through the very hell that I went through. I didn't want them to suffer that. So I feel like it was a long, hard fight. It was a hard fight because I ended up marrying someone in the church and I had to fight the demons or the thoughts, the judgments that he had. And in the very church that I thought was not open. So it felt like it was me against everybody else. But I was determined to do what I had to do for my sanity. If I couldn't get out, my children were going to get out. It's been extremely difficult for me. Um, as a mother, for me, I have to balance taking care of my family and the things that they're going through. The challenge comes not necessarily seeing about them, but seeing about myself because you can't take care of others or see about your family if you have nothing to give. It's just, you're basically giving out of an empty pitcher. That they would see that they are successful, that they are not as bad off as they think they are. That although they've went through what they went through, that they survived, that they were victorious, that everything that happened is still a victory. If you were able to come out, you made it. I try to remind my family, although they are hurting in that space, but I try to remind them of what they've accomplished, that they made it through, that yes, you're struggling in this battle, but you were able to make it through that other battle. So if you're able to handle that, you can handle this. And that every small step is still a win. because it's not being discussed, especially in the Black community, especially in the Black churches, because the main thing they want to do is demonize it. I have another relative, family member, where the family didn't want to hear. They didn't want to discuss it. They wanted to sweep it under the cover, sweep it under the rug. And because of that, a life was lost, and that life, other life, is forever changed because they didn't want to accept it. Mental health is real. You cough, you get sick. You don't see the bacteria, but you know you're sick, and you go get help. So why, with mental health, just because you don't see what's going on inside their mind, the chemical imbalance, the whatever, that is not real? Mental health issues are real. They are real. You can't pray everything away. You can pray, you can have faith, but you need other things to go with that. That's why we have doctors. That's why we have psychologists. That's why I'm fighting against traditional things. When I meet with people and they're talking about prayer, and they demonize mental health and those that work with it, I said, but Jesus, he met people where they were. He had a doctor on his team. He didn't condemn the man that was in the garden. He was cutting himself. They demonized him. No, don't go away. Isolate him. But Jesus went to him. He met him. He ministered to his needs. That's how I see people that work in that field, the mental health field. They meet them where they at. They make them feel seen. They put a face to the person. They humanize it. They let them feel like, hey, I'm not in this by myself. Somebody hears me. That what I am feeling, I am not off. In the past, we say, "Oh, they crazy." There's something else. They may have, like I said, chemical imbalance, something, trauma. Those things are real, and we need to acknowledge it, and we need to give people the proper help, and stop acting like it's not there. Stop acting like it's not real. It is real. To them, it's real. More detrimental. Because my mom operated in her pain. I was the firstborn, and because of how she was mishandled, it caused her to be very strict with me, be extremely overly protective. I was like a little doll in a doll case. I couldn't go nowhere, couldn't be nowhere. Now, when my other sisters came, the hold wasn't as strong, but it was strong with me, and I was not exposed to things. It's like a looking glass. I could see things, but I couldn't be a part of things. And it was hard. I didn't know how to function with other young people that were my age, things that I went through. My mom said, pray about it. I wasn't allowed to look at it like this. My mom would, every day I had to pray at 5:30. I wasn't allowed to stay up past 9 o'clock. And I got up in the morning, I had to pray. When I came in from school, I had to pray. When there were issues at school, I had to pray. When I was being bothered by bullies, instead of my mom confronting them, She used the Bible. I was depressed. I attempted suicide 3 times. And each time they prayed. And when they finally took me to a doctor, they rejected everything that the doctor said. And instead of helping me, they removed me from the environment. They just took me somewhere else. And you just start over. Just act like it never happened. You'll be all right. And that's what I did. But pain, when you're dealing with pain and pain is not handled properly, it manifests itself in many detrimental ways. So for me, I literally did what my mom said. I forgot it. So I ended up being diagnosed with selective amnesia because I lost times, places that I couldn't remember. So there are times in my life growing up I have no recollection of. I don't remember. I used to read a lot. I stayed to myself. I was always in my room. I never went anywhere. I just stayed in my room. And my mom was my only connection to the outside world. That's not healthy. That's not healthy. So as I grew up, I didn't know how to cope. I didn't know how to cope with things out there. It was hard. It was hard. So yes, it was detrimental. Acknowledge. Acknowledge what they are going through. Don't ignore it. And then I try to give them space. I try to be in the moment. I try not to make it about me. I try to hear their heart, their voice, and hear it from their perspective and be okay with not having an answer. Sometimes they just want to be heard. They don't always want a solution. Just to let them know that, hey, your mental health matters to me. It's important to me. And it's important that you take the steps to maintain a healthy, balanced mental health and a balanced mind, spirit, and emotion. I work in what is called reinvestments. People think that's just finances. But the primary role of what the office I work in is we want people to receive help. And one of the issues is that they'll send them immediately to state hospital, whether it's an alcohol dependence problem, substance abuse, mental health, behavior, um, or any kind of disability. The immediate response was, we're going to put them in a state hospital. Part of our program is let's not send them to the state hospital. Let's find a program that is suitable for their specific issue and find help right there in their community. Let's not send them away from their family. Let's leave them with their family where they'll have the support of their family and friend and community, but it's local right there. Let's not send them away. And if they don't have the funds, because a lot of them don't have the monies to go to psychologists and psychiatrists, they don't have the money to get the medication. So let's find a place and then see if they are eligible and put them in the project office where we'll pay for it. We'll find the doctors, we'll find the hospitals, and we'll take care of it. So that's what my job is. My education says I'm going to go in those hospitals. I'm going to talk to the doctors. I'm going to talk to the program managers, the community, and find out what's not working. Let's address this issue. Find out what's not working. Break it down. Let's fix it so that you all can provide better services, better programs, better opportunities that will help the clients. We can't help the clients. We can't help people that are like my children if we're providing them with broken systems, broken programs. Let's go in there and fix it and provide answers, solutions that will fix it. Give the middle managers, the ones that are working with these people, a voice. Give them the tools that they need to help the clients so that we don't keep seeing them going through the revolving door because that's what's happening. They're not getting the help because a lot of times the ones that are working with the clients, they're overworked. You can have one person, one counselor that have 20 clients and they're expected to provide treatments, find out what's wrong with them, provide the treatments, put them in the hospitals, and provide follow up within 48 hours. That's impossible. I feel that it's in progress. Everyone's success is measured differently, but I believe that I have successfully altered somewhat the journey for them because of what I went through, because of the things that were not afforded to me. My children were going through things mentally, and I was determined that they would not go down that same dark path that I went through. Um, so I made decisions. I went to school. I changed my major so I could understand what they were going through, so that I could be their advocate. Because when they were going through, you know, when I got with their father wasn't as open to mental health support. I thought I was in a ministry that understood that. And they had the same thought as my parents, pray about it. And I was like, prayer is not enough. And my children were suffering. So I said, enough is enough. I have to do something. And I did it. And I feel like I was successful in opening that door. And they benefit from that. So whatever resources they need, I can make it available to them. I could direct them to it. The success is not really mine. The success that I feel that my family have from it is that they get the help that they need, that they accept, hey, I have a problem and I need help, that they know that it is not demonic, that they know that everyone sometimes needs outside help, outside of church, outside of the family. And that is nothing wrong with that. So if you want to measure success like that, yes, I was successful in changing the trajectory of where my family was going concerning mental health. Because I have other family members who would not listen, and now they are suffering because they didn't want to get the help or they wouldn't acknowledge that there was mental health. Right. And to this day, that I can say for my children, my direct family, although we're still battling, that battle we have successfully won.